let's go back to this for a second. If you have 2 liters, 250 milliliters per, right? So 2 liters equals 2,000 milliliters. Okay, that's what you have there. And if you have 2,000 milliliters that you need, 2,000 divided by 250 equals 8. Okay, so that means you need 8 of these bottles of salad dressing. That's what it's saying. So if there's 8 bottles that you need, the price is $2.29, and you multiply 229 times 8, and that equals, who got this one?
Sorry.
This should be 1832. Okay, so 1832 is your best answer. That's how much Ricky spent on this one. What do you?
Okay, so I get that point.
Just hold it. Just hold it.
$32 to Deborah because I meant 32 minutes.
Okay. Well, let's continue here real quick. So, bottom line here is it's $18.32 that this person spends to pay for 2 liters, because that's what he's looking for, is 2 liters of salad dressing. Okay. The conversion is probably what threw you off, is knowing how to go from milliliters to liters. It's 1,000. Deborah, what would you do with number 10?
Which of these flags will not look exactly the same after being rotated 180 degrees about center? It chose J.
J.
Because the star would be upside down.
That's right. The rest of them would still be the same. Okay, good. This is 11 through 14. You do not need to calculate. Use estimations. Alexandra, what would you do with that one?
Which of these is the best estimate of the square root of 10? G, between 3 and 3.5.
This was pretty close to the other one. I think the other was square root of 11. This is the same because it's even closer to 3 than 11 was. So yeah, the answer was G on that one. This is very similar to what we did earlier. Maxwell, number 12.
Which of these is the best estimate of 33 over 82 divided by 11 over 82? I would change 33 into 30, 82 into 80, 11 into 10, and 83 into 80. 83 into 80. I would multiply the reciprocal, and you get 3.
Say that again, what you changed again?
So 33 over 82 to 30 over 80.
Okay, 30 over 80.
And 11 over 83 to 10 over 80.
Okay, good. And then what did you do after that?
I would turn 3 over 8 times 8, which would equal 3.
That would be correct. It would be 3. And this is, I mean, it's not hard, but whenever they tell you an estimate, do the estimate before the calculation rather than at the end. Because if you do all the work and then you estimate, then it's going to come out very different than 3. That's what's going to happen there. Number 13, Brian, what'd you do with this one?
Which of these is the best estimate of 26% of 9,856? I rounded 26% to 25%, and I rounded 9,856 to 10,000, and then 10,000 divided by 4 is 2,500, so G.
That's correct. So I would go with G on that. That's the right kind of rounding that you want to do there. Jacob, number 14, tell us what you would do here.
He's going to buy some of sense traffic for $85. Anyway, working stuff to some dollars usually. How many months will it take him to pay for that? So I said that 4 weeks equals 1 month. And I did 85 divided by 7, which comes out to be 12 points. And then 12 weeks divided by 4 equals 3, so I don't do.
So since it was 12 and change, it's about 3 months. That's correct. That's correct. These are kind of redundant questions here. Let's try some new ones here. Least to greatest, Rachel, number 15. F is correct. -6 is the lowest. -3, 0, 2, and 7. Okay, Let's go to 16 on this one, Isabel.
There has only prime numbers.
Okay, and you chose C, 3, 17, and 37. What is the definition of prime?
It can only be divided by itself and one.
Correct. A number that is only divisible by itself and 1. That is correct. Okay, 17, Deborah.
A pair of gardening gloves costs $4.50. A package of seeds costs 75 cents. Fiona spent $10.50. She bought 1 pair of gloves. How many packages of seeds did she buy? Subtract $4.50 from $10.50 and then divide that by 75 cents.
Right, so she subtracted right off the top the 1 pair of gloves, right? So she got herself $6. And then what did you do after that again? Sorry?
Divide $6 by 75 cents.
Right, by 75 cents. I would move the decimals immediately, so you're dealing with 75 and 600. What's your best answer there?
Seven.
It's not 7 because if you think about it, this one here, it's going to end with 0. So you're better off multiplying by an even.
8.
Yeah, if you went with 8 here, it's going to work perfectly because 8 times 5, 40. Put that 4 on top of 56. You gave yourself a 60 there. So that's what I would do. No need to rush. You know how to do this stuff. This, for all of you guys, this is not hard. You should just get the right answer on that. Okay, let's do the last part of math here. Number 1, Alexandra.
Number 1, if these percents were converted to decimals, which one would fall between point X and point Y on the number line? Okay, so if they were converted to decimals, then X would be 200% and Y would be 230%. So naturally, B.
These are your best
15% would fall between them.
Right, 215 would be your best one because that's 2.15. Let's go to the next one, Maxwell, number 2.
If this pattern continues, how many squares will there be in figure 5? Each time, each figure has an outer layer.
Yes.
And so if you keep adding, there will be so 30. And
For number 5?
Yeah.
For figure 5, there will be 30. The way I broke it down, I think what Maxwell did was he kind of added a layer to it, You could do that. I actually broke it down and I said figure 1 is 1 by 2, figure 2 is 2 by 3, and you could see the progression. Figure 3 is 3 by 4. So both the length and the width were both increasing. So by the time you get to figure 5, it would be 5 by 6. So that's why it's 30. So let's continue. Brian, this is it gives you a little bit of background information, but let's try number 3 here. You can read the directions for us there.
On which branch you apply. Each brand has a different price and different features such as additional memory, increased processor speed, fast slowdown, and CDRY. Think about this when you do numbers 3 and 4. Juanita wants to spend between $1,250 and $1,500 on a new computer. According to the graph, which computer should she buy? I chose C because it's the only computer that's like past the midpoint of 1,000 and 1,500, but it's still less than 1,000.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The price wise, that one was between 12 and 1,500. Yeah. Because the other one, the QRX, looks like it's below it. Okay. That's good. Let's go to number 4 here. Jacob.
The graph shows the number of features that each computer has. Ezio wants to buy a computer that has many features, and he does not want to spend too much money. What should be looking on the graphs? I think J for this one.
Okay.
Because it says that a computer with a long bar on the features graph and a short bar on the price graph. He says he wants a lot of features, so
Right.
a longer bar on the features suits what he wants, and a shorter bar on the price suits what he wants.
Yes. And you can tell this is a very old question because this computer has a fax modem on it. And people today are like, fax modem? Who uses that? CD-ROM? Now did anybody notice that when you guys were reading it? This is that old. But anyway, it's pretty funny. Let's continue here. We only have a few more pages and we're going to be at a good stage right there. So let's go to number 5 here, Rachel. Yeah, go for it.
This snack bar at the Rich School has just opened. Think about this when we did it with 5 These soft drink bottles are C similar but not congruent.
Similar. They actually went with neither congruent nor similar because it looks like the bottom of the first bottle has ridges in it that the second one doesn't have. It's kind of a weird one, but let's go to number 6 on this one, Isabel.
Which of these sampling methods will give the best random sample of 65 students from the entire school population of 650? G, select the first 65 students that walk out the front door of the school at the end of the day.
Okay. G would be the best answer on this one. When you're doing sampling, we talked about this before. I don't even like that answer because, who knows if it's the least studious kids are like, I'm getting the heck out of here first, right? So they're going to have a similar opinion in some way. But you sort of look for, when you're looking for random, you're generally looking for the least possible things in common because you don't want to have all students from one specific class, Mrs. Green's or Mr. Green's advanced computer class. They're going to have a similar opinion. You don't want to have kids with just the highest GPA because they represent one population, or the oldest kids. I mean, I think that's probably the second best one because age, I mean, they don't differ by that much, but okay. Let's go to the next page here. Let's go to number 7, Deborah.
The table shows the number of students who went to the snack bar after school on the first 4 days that it was open. If the pattern continues, how many students will go to the snack bar after school on day 5? I said D.
D is correct. What is the pattern that you see here in number 7?
It's adding by 11, then the next day it's 12, so add by 1 more than the previous day.
Right. The difference grows by 1 each day. So by the time it's on day 4 to day 5, it's plus 14. So your best answer is 128. Okay, number 8, Alexandra.
The snack bar is 24 feet long and 18 feet wide. If it were 1/3 the length and 3 times the width, how would its area change? So you multiply 24 by 18, and you get like 1 second.
Do you really want to do that?
No, probably not. Anyway, so you multiply theoretically, I guess, and then 1/3 the length. It's 24 feet long, so it would be 8 feet wide, and 18 times 3, which is 64.
Right. So you want to do 1/3 of 24.
Multiply both and see which one is larger.
Right, and then 3 times the width. Right. So what's your final answer then?
Well, since I didn't calculate it, it would probably be the same because you're taking, like, you're dividing by 3 and multiplying by 3.
Right,
you
in
don't
essence,
have-
these two cancel each other out,
Yeah, that
so
was
it is
a
equal.
moment of stupidity for
So
me.
they're equal to each other. You could have done it, but if you're running short on time, you want to look for a little bit of a shortcut because multiplying by 3 and multiplying by 1/3 is multiplied by 1, so it's the same. Okay, let's go to number 9, Maxwell.
The picture shows the cards of the fans pull up to form a red bar every time the football team scores. About 1% of the cards as a whole are red. I counted the number of tiles in the
You probably had to count on this one, yeah. So what did you do?
I counted as 32.
Okay,
And the entire thing is 10 by 10, so 100. 32 over 100 is about 30%, so it would be.
that's right. So it's 30% because 32 out of 100 is closest to 30%. That is correct. Has any of you guys, or have any of you guys gone to a football game where you have to raise things like that? There's a story, at some college football games, during the halftime show, they have the band playing, and at the seats, they have these signs so that when everyone lifts it, it spells something. And, and it gets on TV, and everyone's like, yay, we're on TV, and all that. One of the funniest stories was the rivalry game between Harvard and Yale. Harvard and Yale are rivals. Their football tradition is probably the oldest rivalry in America. Although neither of them are great football teams. I mean, they're terrible. I mean, none of them make it to
Yeah. Oh my
the
God.
NFL. But there was a guy from Yale who snuck into the Harvard side, and he gave out all these like placards, and everyone there was like, "Okay, we'll do this at halftime." And at halftime, on the Harvard side, everyone raised this thing up, and it was like some anti-Harvard message. It was like Harvard sucks, which is really
Oh
funny.
God.
It's on YouTube somewhere. I forgot what it said, but it was really funny. The guy pulled it off, which is really funny. It's completely embarrassed. So that's what I think of when I think of that problem like that.
So- Wait, we know both teams are bad, but which team is better?
Well, there's a guy from Harvard who made the NFL, and he's a quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yale, I don't even know if anyone from Yale has succeeded into the NFL. I think Columbia had one guy, but Columbia football had the all-time longest losing streak in college football, which is it lost like 100 games or something. It was some ridiculous thing. I forgot the statistic that I forgot, but they had the longest losing streak in college football. They're terrible. So
The poor Ivy League.
yeah.
I don't really like it.
So let's continue here. Let's go to number 10. That was Maxwell. So Brian, what do you do with number 10 here?
I just tried this 59 minus 6.
Yeah, and this one you're just plugging in the values. N equals 9, K equals 15, and that's the only one that is true here. So that works well. Okay, good. Let's continue with 11, Jacob.
Point Z is between point H. Which of these does not contain point C? I pick C.
That is right. If you were to, I'm just going to draw this up here. Since you have F, G, and H, and then Z is inside of here, right? The answer was between G and F, this way, obviously. So, okay, and then one other note, since we're on this one, did you guys notice that the symbols above there, each of these segments, some of them are lines where they have arrows on both sides, that means continuing on both sides. Some of them are rays, which means it starts at point G and goes to F. Do you guys all know the difference between those symbols? You guys are all cool? Okay. Let's go to Rachel, 12.
Which of these is closest to the height of a one-story house? Which succeeded?
That's pretty obvious, I think. Okay. Number 13, Isabel.
Which of these numbers goes in the box to make the number 16? A9.
Yeah, because 7 and 9 is 16, so it's greater. Okay. 14, Deborah.
Which of these is another way to write 6 to the 4th? It's J.
J, pretty obvious. Alexandra, this is actually worth calculating, so go ahead.
Okay, so you would plug in D.
Well, read it to us.
Okay, if D equals 4 and F equals 2, what is the value of this expression? 3 in parentheses 2D plus 5F in parentheses minus 11. You would plug in D and F and you would get 8 plus 10 inside the parentheses, add that 18, multiply it by 3, you get 64. Subtract 11 and you would get, why am I messing up on this?
So you left off with 8
I
and
messed
10.
up on something.
You have 8 and 10 inside, right? What? Oh, sorry, I kept writing 2s there, sorry, but it's 3. Thank you, Brian. I'm trying to keep up with her, but yeah, those are 3s. Then, Ben, what did you do here?
Okay, so you multiply 18 by 3,
Yes, and you got,
64.
then you got
Huh?
not 64.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I messed up, but I'm still
Do
gonna
the
be
Bob, maybe it'll help you.
truthful to what I
Do
said.
the Bob. Write it on paper. Write it on
Wait,
paper.
let me, okay.
Doing it
So,
in your head this time.
18 plus 18 would be 32 plus another 18. Wait, I screwed up. Why can't I do basic arithmetic? I am so sorry, everyone.
The answer is 54. Okay. Okay, 54
Wow.
minus 11. Our final answer is 43. So 43 is our best answer on that.
I hope you laughed at it.
This is what I'm going to say. I know the math is easy, but you know what? It sometimes is worth. I'd say 15 was one where it's okay to put pencil to paper and just do it. You know, it's okay to do that. Don't be Bob.
I blanked out. I was a
Okay.
space cadet for like a second.
Okay, let's go to Maxwell 16.
These sets were converted to decimals, which one would fall between point T and point U on the other line? D 135% because
Right.
1.35 and 12 between 1.25 and 1.5.
That's correct. You said it faster than I could write it. 1.35 falls between 1.25 and 1.5. Okay. 17, Brian.
If the pattern continues, how many small triangles would be needed to make figure 5? I chose J because it's just like some numbers being squared. Like figure 1 is 25, which is 5 squared. Figure 2 is 16, which is 4 squared. Figure 3 is 9, which is 3 squared. And then figure 4 should be 4, which is 2 squared. And figure 5 should be 1, which is 1 squared.
Okay, that's one way to look at it. Another way, when I was looking at these and I just counted the diagonal row like this, this row on this first one, there were 9. And then on the second one, it was 7 triangles here. The next one was 5 triangles. And I'm saying that I'm not going to draw them all in. There were 9, there were 9 there, 7, 5. This was 3. And this last one was 1. That's how I did it. Everyone has a different way, but you can see the trend there. The answer would have been 1 triangle on the 5th one right there. Okay. Jacob, number 18.
Point A and point B are 2 ways to use animation. Which of these cannot be the core number in the same context? I picked A because all the other ones work as a, if you put it in, there would be a right triangle. It would be a right triangle.
Right. Since they gave us A and B here, the best one was -1 and 1. -1, 1. -1 this would not work as a right triangle. The other ones, if you plotted them in there, would have given you a right. This is 1, -1. I'm sorry, -1, comma 1 does not produce a right triangle. The other ones do. So that answer was correct on that. Let's go to 19, Rachel.
Point P is the center of a circle, which is a true statement. J is diameter of a circle.
That is true, because it passes through the middle. Okay, so we actually got through all this stuff here with this math lesson also. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to I think there was a reading lesson that we had at the beginning that we could do for a couple minutes here. I think it goes on page number, did we finish on page number? I think it's page number 15, right? Or was that the last page on that one? I think it's 15. Reading and Language Arts, page 15. Not that one, it's too far. There's two different,
That's what I'm spacing out.
I know, there's two different booklets that you guys want to do. There, oh, it only went up to 14. How far did we get? Did we get to this one here? I'm sure we did this. Yeah. On page 12, did we get that far? Oh, we got past this, right? Okay. That's right, we did get there. Okay, we did that. All right, we did this. That's good. So I'm just going to wrap it up early. It's 8:24, 5 minutes early is not a big deal, right? Question?
For the math section, when we go in and take the test, we get out all the conversions.
It would help to review some of those, but liter to milliliter, those should be obvious. Like gram and kilogram, that's 1 to 1,000. You should know those. Centimeter to meter, 1 to 100. You know, those. They're not going to make you go from metric to British because that's kind of confusing. Pounds to grams. They're not going to make you go cross system. But you should know like 4 quarts to a gallon. You should know some of those things. Just review those. That's worth remembering. Other questions? I'll leave it open to anyone. Okay. Well, it's been fun teaching you guys. I'm glad we could get a few laughs in here and there. As you guys know, the test is a one and done thing. You take it once, that's it. What I'm going to say is this. I know some of you guys got to a point where you're like, I'm just going to work ahead and finish it. Speed is not necessarily your best thing. Accuracy is the most important, right? Work on accuracy, steady pace. You're not racing because even if you finish early, you're just going to sit there, right? They're not going to let you just get up and leave like that. So what I'm going to say is think about accuracy, not speed, okay? Look over the questions that we've done. The other thing I would note is some of these questions, they try to put a little spin by saying which of these is not, or which one is opposite, which one is spelled correctly, which one is not spelled correctly. Be very careful with the wording, because I know for some of us, we're tempted to just go, let me just go to the question and not read the direction. Don't worry about speed. All of you guys can do that. Worry about accuracy, because in the end, that's what counts the most. It's been fun teaching you guys, and you guys are free to go, and good luck on the test, and have a great Christmas, and Happy New Year. All right? You guys are free. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.